Wake up, wake up. It is a Monday. That's right. Monday, May 11th. Mother's Day came, Mother's Day went. Did you get it done? We're going to talk about it. We'll talk about that and so much more right now. Wake up, wake up.
All right, here we go. He's Larry. I'm Damon. We are brought to you by PrizePicks, and it is great to have you back here on Wake Up. Like, subscribe, all of those good things as we are officially now, Larry. Every day brings us closer to kickoff. 4 months away, 123 days from kickoff in Australia, of all places, for the San Francisco 49ers. And we're going to know an awful lot more what this season looks like, because we're getting the season schedule on Thursday. It is schedule release week, Larry, and it really has become a week-long media event with all the new broadcasters and streaming partners, everyone looking to garner their own little slice of attention for their own little slices of games. I'd say by the time we get to 5 p.m. our time on Thursday, we'll probably know about half the schedule. And then we'll get the second half. But it's a great time. We love the speculation business. It's kind of what we're in. And obviously, you were down at rookie minicamp. There's never a better chance to make a first impression than a first impression, which you have gotten from a rookie class. And we'll get into all of that. But welcome, everybody. It's great to have you here. And Larry, here's the one thing we absolutely know. The one thing we do know is that the 49ers open week 1 in Australia against the Rams. They're going to be the first Thursday night game of the year, with the defending Super Bowl champion Seahawks lifting the curtain on the season the previous Wednesday, thanks to a little time difference and international dateline. The Niners are the second game of the year, but the first Thursday night game of the year, and it's going to be on Netflix, so better get your subscription paid.
Yeah, which is lousy, and they're going to Capitol Hill, and the networks are, the Rupert Murdochs of the world are trying to say to Trump, hey, look, this isn't right, and too much money, and you got to have this available to Joe on the couch on network television, and they're trying to push back on the streaming, and I wouldn't mind it, because it's just it more than anything. The NFL's popularity exploded in our childhood in the 70s, okay? The NFL was nothing in the 60s, okay? Nothing. They existed, but it was nothing compared to what it was in the 70s, and it was nothing compared to what it was in the 80s. It was built in the 70s and 80s as a television sport, and ultimately, there's 3 things that drive the NFL's popularity. Appointment television, you knew when and where you could find it. Gambling and violence. That is the holy trinity in the greatest sports cocktail the world's ever seen, or at least the U.S. has ever seen. And now you're taking away the violence because they're making the game safer. And, the gambling has gotten bigger. So now there's more gambling than ever. It used to be just people that had guts gambled. Now it's anybody with 2 cents and 2 nickels to rub together can play fantasy and call it gambling.
And by the way, that point is brought to you by PrizePicks.
Yeah, there's penny ante gambling. There's this and that. There's fantasy football. There's all kinds of pools, and everybody's into it. And the NFL's never been more popular, but they have forgotten their what got them there, which is appointment television. And appointment television has to do with when and where can I go to find your product. And the NFL for years, 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and that's the West Coast, 10 a.m. West Coast, 1 p.m. West Coast, 5 p.m. West Coast, Monday Night Football, work in a Thursday. And it was all very people who don't ever look at a TV guide or any kind of a guide on your TV of any kind that tells you what time things are on, or you don't have to look up.
You need to know. Yeah.
I got to look up every day. I got to look up, hey, where are the Giants playing? Where can I see 3 hits, 3 singles, and 1 run tonight? Am I going to see that on NBC Sports Bay Area? Is it on Fox? Is it on ESPN? Is it on this? Is it on that? Is it on streaming services? Is it on Prime? And in the NFL, that is part of the beauty of it. You always knew when and where you could get it, and it was free. And now it's hard to find, and it ain't free. So they're biting. I think they're hurting the golden goose. You know what I mean? I mean, I think they're looking at revenue in the present and not thinking about their business model and the health of it long term.
There is enough money on the side of the business model they're swimming on to, I guess, sort of forget about the general population. Like they wouldn't be doing this if the money hadn't already screamed, do it now. Not only does it make sense now, but it makes sense in the future. This is the direction that everyone is heading. And you and I might not looking up what streaming service tonight's NBA game or Giants game is on or whatever, but everyone else does, and it's no big deal.
No. It is a big deal. Less people watch.
My only problem that the ratings don't say so, though. The ratings say that there's more eyeballs coming to sports now more than ever. So
that's not true. That's just not true. There's no way in the world that every single person out there that was watching on network television is now downloading the QR code and uploading. No, I don't believe that at all. They're cooking the books. That is total and utter bullshit. And you know it. There's no chance in hell that all these people that were used to just flip on a switch on the couch are now downloading the app and uploading the code and bullshit.
I think it's more ubiquitous. I think it's more ubiquitous than you give it credit for. And look, there are smarter people looking at all the numbers at all times, and there are people who are crunching the math on this, and the math is crunched. This is the way it's going, and it wouldn't be going in this direction if it were going to be less profitable. The NFL has figured that out. They've done these.
There's a difference, Damon. There's a difference between profitable and good business practice. Profitable in the present. See, here's the thing. Why do people watch? Because they're into it. But guess what? They get into it by watching it. And if you don't let them dabble on it, it's like a drug dealer, giving people samples, free samples. What we got in the 70s and 80s were free samples of the drugs. And now you're just on the reputation of the drugs. Kids are buying these drugs. It's a terrible example, but I'm just saying. And now but they're not going to be addicted because they're not getting enough of the drugs.
Well, but there's a whole avenue.
Not building up an addiction. We've seen in our lifetime
that's now available.
We've seen in our lifetime baseball's no longer popular. I've got kids that played varsity baseball, right, and I can't get them to watch a baseball game because baseball died.
Baseball started becoming less popular before Netflix was even a thought. I know,
but what I'm saying is just that the NFL they think that people will always need it, love it, want it, consume it. But you know what? That audience was built of people that got used to it. You have to keep recruiting the audience keeps aging out every year. There's new people that come into the marketplace. There's people that die and they're no longer in the marketplace. Well, guess what? You need to keep getting people to watch. And we're born with it. We're up to it. We're into it. We'll do all the streaming services. They may be able to leverage us because we bought, we were into it before. But the kid that's just kind of, I like it. I don't know. I'm into everything. I mean, I'm into this. I'm into that. I'm into something different every day. That person's not going to. I'll give you an example. My kids will not pay. I look at cable. I have cable in the house. They will never pay for cable. Never. My sons are never going to pay for cable. So cable television, you're going away because not enough people are going to pay. They don't see the value. It's like a newspaper.
Larry, here's the thing. I'm not saying you're wrong. The NFL is saying you're wrong. Okay. The NFL, all of your fears about the next generation, where is it coming from? The NFL has done so much quantitative math on this that it would boggle your mind. They have made the choice that this is the more profitable direction. So there's no going back. My biggest problem with streaming isn't that
profitable doesn't mean profitable in the present doesn't mean profitable in the long term. You're right. They're taking as much revenue in the present as they possibly can. Why? Because the audience of 70, 60, 50, 40 and people in their late 30s are addicted to the NFL. And so they can do all this stuff. But guess what? The 15-year-old, not addicted. The 10-year-old doesn't know anything about it. The 5-year-old, he has no idea what it's about. And so you have to build.
I don't know. All those kids are still in the room with dad as dad is watching the game. I mean, okay, we could go round and round and round on this. You're completely.
No, I'm just saying they're taking the money. You're right. They're making the most money in the present. But as far as long-term vision of how to build the audience, I don't think that's all been put on the back burner, and they've assumed that. They've taken that part for granted. And we'll see. I mean, I love it and I'll watch it, but guess what? Over time, my guess is since kids are unplugging from cable and nobody has any real money, and a lot of people don't, in the younger generation don't even have any property. I think if the way it's going to go, the streaming costs are going to go up and up and up.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. The streaming is going to become so cost prohibitive that you're not going to be able to have 3 or 4 streamers anymore. It's going to be like paying for 3 or 4 cable subscriptions, and everyone's going to wish, geez, I wish there was a place where all of these channels were available for just one simple purchase price, and that's literally what we moved away from. My biggest problem with all the streaming sports is how hard it is to just flip in between games. One game goes to commercial, you want to toggle over to the next game.
I don't want you to do that.
They don't. They want you to be a prisoner of the moment for sure. That's my biggest problem with it. It's not the price. It's not the availability. It's not the generational damage. I don't give a fuck about anybody's kids or fans.
User ease is what you're saying.
Yes. I want to be able to flip from this to that easier than I am now able to do. What I do know is that Netflix does get this first 49er game. So if you want this first 49er game, you're going to have Netflix. And then the home schedule, Larry, obviously it's Arizona, LA, and Seattle. Then the Denver Broncos, the Raiders, the Eagles, the Commanders, the Dolphins, and Minnesota Vikings are all scheduled to come to Levi's Stadium. One of those games will be shipped to Mexico. And then the away opponents this year are Cardinals and Seahawks again. You know that you're playing the Rams in Australia. Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers, Giants, Falcons. So there are some interesting away games. I always start thinking about a schedule in terms of what's your cold weather city and how early do you get it in the upcoming season? In other words, are you playing general winter along with the actual opponent? And there really isn't a weather emergency out here, Larry, especially if they get that New York Giants road trip early in the season. If that comes up, pre-November, then that means that's not going to be some blizzard or anything. They're not going to Buffalo. They're not going to Green Bay. They're not going to Chicago, those brutal cold weather cities that you really need to worry about it. So I don't see any true weather emergency in the away opponents. I think that Chiefs game.
I do. I mean, have you ever been to Kansas City in January or December? It's freezing.
Yeah, that could be a possibility. Degrees. I'm going to tell you right now, that game's got a Sunday night or Thursday night written all over it, right?
The bigger thing there is, when is Mahomes coming back? I tore the ACL, he tore the LCL, he had surgery, or he sustained the injury in December, and they're saying he's going to be back in September. But I would say, if you get the Chiefs in the first month of the year, you may get Gardner Minshew or whoever else they got. I haven't checked their quarterback depth chart, but isn't Minshew the backup there? You may not get Mahomes. So, personally, I would like to get Mahomes because the Niners have never beaten Mahomes, and I'd like to beat Mahomes. I mean, it's like it almost feels like a scheduled loss every time the Niners go against Kansas City if they have Mahomes. So, but according to the reports, Mahomes is ahead of schedule and is likely to be there. We should tell people, by the way, the show is brought to you by, on the Krug Show side, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera, soon to open in Petaluma. Both shows are presented by PrizePicks, America's #1 sports picks app. PrizePicks is super simple. You just pick more or less on player stats or game outcomes. Build your lineup. It's available in most states, including California. So if you haven't checked it out yet, use promo code HMA. And when you play $5, you'll get $50 in lineups instantly, and we'll do a lineup later on this morning.
What I do know is that NFL social media departments basically get their Super Bowl this week, right? Those scheduled release videos are what these these social media departments absolutely live for. Who's going to have the funniest? Who's going to have the best? Who's going to have the most stylistic? Who's just going to make fun of Mike Vrabel? Will an AFC East opponent be doing Mike Vrabel jokes?
I got to be honest, man. I think the Vrabel jokes are that's not fair. That's foul.
It is
That's
rough.
like,
it's rough out there.
You can't go Vrabel jokes, because Vrabel jokes just ignore the fact that that little girl's career is done. So I don't know. To me, that would be hugely insensitive if they go with Vrabel jokes, as he's just some big idiot who's cheating on his wife most likely. And, nothing's going to happen to him. And that poor little girl lost her whole career. Not that she wasn't an adult and didn't make her own mistakes.
Really not
still,
a little
you know what
girl,
I'm saying? It seems a little
here's what I do know. She's got a huge she's got a huge payday waiting for her when she either wants to do the Lifetime story or sell her the interview to CBS or whatever it's going to be. But I also know this. During some timeout for a Patriots away game, some in-stadium DJ is going to blast Dirty Diana by Michael Jackson, and it's going to land. It's going to land.
No, I mean, people are going to, I mean, there's people that are there for it for sure. I just think it's in poor taste since she lost her career over it, and I don't know, man, it seems pretty bad for her, unfortunately.
The number one thing to be looking at when this schedule does come out, and this is what we learned through our friend Warren Sharp a couple of years ago, is the rest days, the rest advantage that you have. This is what I think is now the meat of the schedule. It's not necessarily the, hey, circle the away game that you want to go to, or which city do you not want to go. It's how much rest, where are your bye weeks, how many Thursday night games do you have rubbing up against the previous Sunday night or an upcoming the Monday night game. There are so many rest disadvantages that have worked against the 49ers. We'll see what this schedule looks like when it officially comes out on Thursday. But I'm ready to go. Like I feel like once you get that schedule in your hand, you got the list of what you're having for dinner. You're looking at the menu for the first time, and you get to start really whetting your appetite. I love it, Larry. I absolutely love the schedule coming out.
If you think about it, the schedule release was nothing. I mean, we always get more and more into sports as time goes on. And sometimes you look at it and you're like, wow, I'm really surprised we weren't more into it back then. Like even the draft, right? Like, it was nothing. It was done on a conference call on a Monday morning. And we're not talking about in the 30s or in the 50s, in the late 80s. It was a conference call on a Monday morning, and now it's network television, right? 3 nights a week, 3 day spread over 3 days, and millions of people in attendance. And what the draft has become is amazing. But I don't even know, to me, it's almost like we were all huff and paint in the 70s and 80s, because everybody was just so much more chill back then. If you think about it, there was a schedule release. There was always a schedule release, and it was always released roughly about the same time, except nobody ever gave a shit.
Right.
Nobody cared. Only the head coaches cared, and the people that maybe have worked at the games. Everybody else it was like the Niner game against the Chargers this year is on the 19th. Okay. All right. I mean, it was like nothing. Met absolutely, and people were into the NFL then.
Right. Maybe Aunt Sally's coming up from LA and she's going to want to go to that game. Should we look into tickets? It's all it really was.
I don't even, the idea of traveling to a game was a rich person's endeavor. You didn't travel to road games to watch. If you were traveling to a road game in the mid 80s to see the Niners, you had $500K in the bank. At least there's nobody was it was not like, hey, I'm a Joe working guy, and then all of a sudden I'm getting on a bird and I'm going to Chicago, and there were people that flew to these games. Don't get me wrong, but like a fraction compared to now. Now John Chapman's traveling with thousands of people every single week.
The circus.
It's a gigantic endeavor. there is a huge amount of Niner fans who have never been to Levi's, but they go to all the games. How do I know, Larry? Because I'm there. I went to New Orleans. I went to Philadelphia. I was in Seattle. I saw the masses. I've been to the parties. I was in the quarter. I saw thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And I talked to lots of the people in New Orleans. I said, hey, New Orleans is a party town, man. I sat next to some lady on the media row. I'm like, hey, New Orleans is a party town. Do you see this many people descending on New Orleans every week from all these different road teams? She's like, oh yeah, you do.
Yeah.
But nothing. She's like, but nothing like this.
No, Niners fans have.
It's amazing.
I think they're the best traveling presence in sports, not just the NFL. I mean, Niners fans show up in a way that reminds me of the way Kentucky fans used to travel around their basketball team. If you were playing Kentucky on the road, or if Kentucky was coming to your gym, there were going to be more Kentucky fans in your gym than your fans. Like, it was insane back in the day, and that's what I think. And that's all they had, though. Like, that's
they're
all
more than the Giants travel better than the Lakers. The Giants travel better than the Knicks, better than the Yankees, better than anybody. The Reds. I mean, the Red Sox have a huge fan base, and when they're really good, they do kind of show up in huge number, but nothing compared to the 49ers. I think it's college football-esque. Let's just say there are some college fans that will follow their college team everywhere.
There's no fan base that travels quite like the Niners. And honestly, the best game to go to, I think, for a Niners fan is an away game. You know, with all due respect to how much I love Levi's Stadium.
You've hated Levi's.
Well, rightfully so. But anyways, it's awesome to get together on the road and see your jerseys taking over. I mean, when they travel to Dallas this year, that's going to be 80% 49ers fans. The Rams lobbied the NFL to have a home game given away against the 49ers because that's how little of a home field advantage they have at SoFi Stadium when the Niners play. Niners still get a chance to take over SoFi this year when they will be on the road taking on the Chargers.
And they will. They will. I mean, and Jim Harbaugh, I mean, that's going to be – I'm thinking about going to that game. That I don't know when it is, of course, but
you will by Thursday.
LA is Niner territory, man. I mean,
so here's what we
I'll
know.
say this. I was looking at my YouTube audience the other day, and our number one market is San Francisco, and our number two market would be Sacramento because Sacramento is kind of a Bay Area adjunct market. Most of the Sacramento fans all of the Sacramento football fans, for the most part, are Niner fans. I mean, there's fans of other teams, but like 99% are Niner fans. But LA is our third market. And I looked, and the numbers were huge, absolutely huge. And I looked at why LA has and it hit me. When we were in New Orleans, we saw a lot. Like, it was disturbing how many Niner Dodger fans there are. That is a thing, man. Oh my God. My God. I mean, it's just amazing. Niner Dodger fans is a thing. And it's because the LA market abandoned the NFL for a long time and left those people without a team. And so all those people down there who are Dodger fans and LA fans said, oh, we got to have a team. Chargers, Niners, we'll choose Niners. And now they stayed with it. And
look, obviously, with the success that Stafford and McVay have had, the Rams have definitely reawoken whatever fan base they had down in LA. But I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that the Niners are no further away from the second or third most popular football team in the city of Los Angeles. And I would put the Raiders ahead of the Rams and the Chargers as well. I would put USC ahead of the Raiders and the Chargers. So, yeah, I mean, look, the Niners are just a monster, an absolute monster of a fan base and an interest. There's a reason why there are so many now. I mean, there seriously are. Like, there are more content creators today than there were yesterday about the 49ers and people trying to get into this space because that is how passionate and crazy fans are. They click on everything they see. Schedule news leaks this week. Again, so Seattle opens on September 9th on a Wednesday. Still don't know that opponent. The 49ers play the following Thursday, the day after. The first Sunday night game of the year is going to be Cowboys at the Giants. By the way, the Giants are 1-9 against Dallas over the past 5 seasons. So an early look at John Harbaugh's team on the first Sunday of the year. Again, broadcasting partners everywhere. We're going to have games on Netflix, Prime, Peacock. We got a Black Friday game. We got a Thanksgiving Eve game for the first time ever. So we're going to have Thanksgiving Eve, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Saturday off for college football, and then boom, and we're going to have like almost 5 days in a row of NFL football right around the holidays. No complaints there. On Wednesday, we'll get the full 9-game international slate, Larry. We're going to get the full 9-game schedule, and we'll finally know who the Niners are going to go play in Mexico City. Do you care to bet on any of the existing away opponents as the opponent selected to go play the 49ers in Mexico City? Oh, no, it'll be a home game for the Niners in Mexico City. So they're either going to be playing the Broncos, the Raiders, the Eagles, the Commanders, the Dolphins, or the Vikings in Mexico City, unless they get, cardinaled or Seahawked down to Mexico City, which I don't think is going to happen.
Well, I mean, they already did play the Cardinals in Mexico City, and it was a Cardinal home game. You said it's going to be a Niner home game?
It will be. Maybe
it'll be the Cardinals. Maybe it will be the Cardinals, because the Cardinals, last time they played down there, it was Niners Cardinals, and they had the Cardinals were the road team, and the Niners had 90% of the crowd. Yeah. So that was I thought that was a blatantly unfair thing for the Cardinals, to be completely honest. So maybe they give Cardinals a little payback. I'd kind of heard some whispers about maybe Miami as well. I want Western teams, or do they want one team from the East, one team from the West? So they have a little bit more of a broad-based appeal for this game. I'm not really sure, but
the only opponent
I don't want Arizona.
The only opponent I don't want to get shipped to Mexico City is the Raiders game. The Raiders game deserves to be in the Bay Area.
Sure, absolutely. There's lots of Raider fans in the Bay Area, though the Raiders are an international brand too, actually. So, the Raiders are probably, I would say this, if you said who the NFL teams that have the biggest fans outside, the biggest fan bases outside of the country, I would say it's probably, in no order, Niners, Cowboys, Patriots, because they were in so many Super Bowls, and probably the Raiders, even though the Raiders are, this dormant, iconic brand. They truly are an iconic brand. And Al Davis was right when he said the Raiders are global. They're an embarrassment globally, but they are they're noticed globally. And you do see Raider stuff. Oh, and somebody said Green Bay. Yeah, Green Bay would be good too, because Green Bay, going back. But I think Green Bay's the legacy of Green Bay, I think, ages out. I think most of those people are dead or dying, at the end of life. I mean, the think about it. If you were a huge fan of the NFL because of the Green Bay Packers and their success in the 1960s, that means you had to be at least 20 in the 60s. If you're 20 in the 60s, you're probably no longer alive. So so I don't know, but I do hear what you're saying. Green Bay is like one of the iconic brands for sure. And they do travel great. I will say that too. Green Bay travels really well.
Don't sleep on the
Pittsburgh Steelers and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah. Don't sleep on the Buffalo Bills either. And I'll tell you, the Kansas City Chiefs have obviously had an incredible decade of growth. So they're a big deal too. I mean, here's the thing. You can't find the NFL team that isn't the big deal. And that's why all of these teams are now worth about $7 billion a piece, no matter where you're coming from. Like and subscribe. It's great to have you here. Again, we're excited to have the schedule come up. Larry and I are talking about maybe doing like a live schedule release show together this upcoming Thursday. Maybe we can make that happen. Maybe, no, is my wife still in Vegas? Do I have to go get the boys on Thursday? Maybe I can get the grandparents to do that. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm thinking out loud here. Jillian is off to Vegas to go see No Doubt at Sphere with one of her old high school friends. So she's going to have a fun girls' week in Vegas. And so I'm on double dad duty all week here, Larry.
Wow. Better get your rest.
I'm going to get my rest. We'll be early to bed, early to rise. Look, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And Larry, obviously, rookie minicamp happened Friday, Saturday down in Santa Clara. I was unable to get down there, but you and your eyeballs were all over it. What do they say? Never trust an eyeball witness. They don't make great witnesses. Well, unless you're talking about Larry Krueger down at Niner training camp. Pretty good pair of eyes to have on the product. So let me just ask you a few questions because I see some online confusion. Normally one thing that we can all agree on is if a dude just either A, looks big, or B, doesn't look big enough. And there seems to be some dissension about the size of Romello Height. Does he look big, Larry? We can't even find agreement on that on Romello Height. Does he look big for the position? Does he look big for the player? Does he look small? If you compare him to other defensive ends, is he a big stand-up outside linebacker? What were your impressions of Romello Height and his actual physical size on the football field?
Well, I mean, there's a couple things going on here. One, Niner fans have never seen a player, when I say never, in this last few years, under the current, Chris Kasarik, wide nine, what they're doing. They've never seen a player like Romello Height. They've never seen a player who's a rusher who's literally sub 240. All right. But he's a rusher. And that's what he is. But look at where the NFL's going. You've got faster quarterbacks and then they're harder than ever to sack. And if you look at the sack totals every year, there's fewer sacks, a fewer percentage of the total number of sacks are coming from defensive tackles and defensive ends. And every year, the percentage of sacks goes up for linebackers and defensive backs. So the NFL's changed, and they're rushing the quarterback with smaller guys because the quarterbacks are faster and they're harder to get on the ground. It's hard to sack Brock Purdy with somebody 285, but it's a lot easier if somebody's 225. And so they're sending smaller guys. We're also seeing Raheem Morris step in here. Raheem is, he is, somebody's described him as a chameleon. Wouldn't call him a chameleon, but I think he's adaptable to his personnel, and he's going to use some 5-man fronts. Well, the Niners haven't gone with 5-man fronts, and in utilizing these 5-man fronts, they want smaller rushers. So, we're asking Niner fans to be like, hey, does Romello Height fit? Well, he doesn't fit an every down wide 9 defensive end. He does not. He does not fit a off the ball linebacker role. He does not, even though he's 240 pounds. So what is he? The first thing is, what is he? Oh my God, what is he? But if you're a Niner fan and you're trying to figure out where's Romello Height fit in this thing, go watch Atlanta last year. Go watch some Atlanta film and go watch Jalen Walker and go watch James Pierce. And those guys were both 240 some odd pounds, and they rushed in his 5-man front. And so Romello Height is not big, but he's not small either. I mean, he's one of those guys that doesn't have an ounce of fat, so he's absolutely ripped, and he's really, really, sinewy strong. And you can see he's ripped. He's really strong legs, really strong upper body, but if he has to put his nose in there against the run, he's going to get steamrolled. He is a third down pass rushing specialist. And if you have a lead and it's third down, you're going to love Romello Height. But if he's out there playing run defense on first and second down, he's going to get steamrolled. So it's more about, he's a sub-package player. He's not a full-time player. He's a specialist. This was kind of one of my biggest arguments with the Niners draft this year, was that there was a lot of these kind of specialist type things. You know what I mean? It's like, Carver Willis and Enrique Cruz, developmental offensive linemen. Kalon Black, I love him, but is he an every down guy, or is he kind of more of a complimentary guy? Grayson Halton is a pass rushing tackle. Romello Height is a pass rushing end. And it's like, do they have a role in a run defense on first and second down? Halton played he played off the bench in a rotation, and Height wasn't very good statistically until this last year. And then Jaden Duggar and Ephesians Priceock are huge, wild swings on guys with unbelievable length, athleticism, and traits that you're hoping you can find a role for in the NFL. So I just think I would have loved this draft to have been a little bit more meat and potatoes, but I like Romello Height, and I think he's going to be really what he's got is bend and burst, an unbelievable first step, and a crazy nonstop motor. So is that going to be good? It's going to be great on passing downs, but on rundowns, I think he's going to have to be on the sideline.
Let's talk Stribling, Larry. What were your first impressions of him? Does he run like a Tommy Gazelle? Is he, big catch radius, sure hands? What stood out to you? And hopefully this is not a player who's a specialist, but an every down wide receiver, because the Niners sure as hell need that.
Yeah, I think this guy starts. I mean, I think Stribling is going to be a starter opposite Mike Evans. That'll be my guess. We'll see. I memean, Ricky Pearsall is going to have something to say about that. Christian Kirk's going to have something to say about that. Demarcus Robinson's going to have something to say about that for sure. But Stribling is huge hands. I mean, like when he flashes his hands, I mean, the hand size on the guy, you can actually see it. I mean, he had these big white gloves on, got huge hands. And you can see that speed. He looks better, running down the field in the wide receiver drill where you're running basically the box and you're sinking your hips and everything. You're supposed to be deliberate, but he was very deliberate. And the talk of his challenge is going to be in the short and intermediate and all of the precision stuff. Like he runs a lot of, if you looked at his stuff at Ole Miss, there was a reason that they used him on hitches and goes. It's because hitches, you get the ball in the hands of your fast guy at the line of scrimmage and you let him go. And he's got 4.36 speed. And then go patterns, it's like there's not a lot of refinement there. It's about getting off the ball and then opening up your stride. And he's got a great stride. It's a very deceptive stride, too, because it's a very long stride. So I think that's why they used him that way. Lane Kiffin's a pretty smart offensive guy. He didn't use him that way because he was awesome at all these other things. And do
you think he plays special teams?
No,
okay.
I don't think he plays special teams. He doesn't have a special teams role, but I do think he is going to be a guy that gives them some stretch the field capability, but I think there's also going to be. I don't think he's going to be one of those guys that works underneath with all this precision. Like, they're gonna have to find somebody else to run those Jennings in routes. This guy can do it a little bit, but I don't see the precision there. And we'll see if he can make plays through contact and guys draped all over him. Some guys, that's a veteran's domain typically. So we'll see if he can do it. My guess is they're going to have to find, maybe it's Demarcus Robinson, maybe it's Jordan Watkins, maybe it's Mike Evans or Christian Kirk to a degree, maybe it's Ricky Pearsall. They got to find somebody to run those, what they call those bang sixes, those those in-cutting routes, in traffic where the guy's covered and you stick it on his hands,
right,
and he's got to catch it through hands and arms and then break arm tackles and go.
Aggressive slants. Who's gonna run those? Who's gonna run them?
Right.
Let's talk about Kalon Black, because even though I went to Indiana University, you are going to be associated with him as much as I am, Larry, because he's our boy. We both really liked him. We both talked about him leading up to the draft. We both defended the reach on him because we think he's going to be an important player for the Niners. What are your first impressions from a guy who comes in already the size of a grown man, because he is one? He's not a young kid. He's 25 and already has the body of a pro.
Yeah, I mean, he's, first of all, him and Kamara are as advertised. Like Damon, Kamara was another guy at Indiana that a lot of people were like, yeah, he's not this, he's not that. I mean, you read the scouting report, it's more about what he ain't. He's not this and he's not that. He doesn't have this and he doesn't have that. He doesn't,
Right.
He can't do this and he can't do that.
At what point was he part of a huge contributor for a national champion that went undefeated? Was
right.
that part of it too?
I mean, it's like hey, wake the fuck up. This guy had the biggest plays and the biggest moments on the best team in the country, and he had 127 pressures over the last 2 seasons, and he had a blocked punt in the Natty. They probably don't win the way they did without that play. I think Kamara looks good to me. I just threw that in because you asked about Black, but I think Black, he's got great leg strength. When you interview him, he's rock solid, just rock solid guy. He's really, really jacked. So there's not a lot of growth there as far as like, he's maxed out in a lot of ways, right? He's not going to get bigger. Some guys get bigger and stronger, and this guy's finalized, and he's 211 pounds, and he's maxed out. But man, the strength in his legs is so good. And then his receiving ability, it's amazing. It's like people decided that he couldn't catch. Why? Because Indiana didn't throw it to him. He caught a lot of balls at JMU. Well, in this practice, I thought he looked like he could catch pretty naturally. Now, he's not big, so he doesn't give you that huge target, but he's sure-handed and he's tough. I think
you don't want running backs to be this big target to hit on. I mean, you got to be a little bit of on the smaller side. I really, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with a fire plug running back, and I think that he's going to be really good. Since we're on the Indiana portion of the show, let me ask you how Curtis Rourke looked. You took your first look at the rookie, who's really still a rookie, even though it's a sophomore year here in the NFL. He basically redshirted last year for the 49ers. He was allowed to come out there during rookie mini camp, and all indications are he looks better than a camp arm. That's for sure.
Well, they really like him. Kubiak talked him up extensively. I've interviewed the kid a couple times. He's a really solid kid, and very conscientious, very hardworking, very dedicated to the craft. He was given a gift. NFL is like a bus. It's like you either catch it when it comes or it goes, and you missed it, right? It's like it's not like you get forever, and you don't get forever. You get little opportunities to seize it, and he's been given a great opportunity because he was given a full redshirt year as a 7th round pick to learn a very complicated system and to adapt. And I thought he looked really good. Like I'll say this, Damon. I'm going to amend my thoughts on Rourke. I think this is going to be I bet you the Niners coaching staff is going to have 10 hours of discussion between now and the cut down about Rourke, Jones, Purdy, Martinez. What's the best plan? Roster size? Do we go with 2? Do we go with 3? And I think Rourke is going to be really good. I think he's going to look really good. And I think my guess is the 49ers are going to be in a real dilemma because they have a roster that they really need to carry 2 quarterbacks.
Rourke ain't getting through waivers, is he?
Oh, there's no chance. There's no chance. I'll say that right now. Because of his stature. He's 6'6". He's not a 5'10" guy. If he was a 5'10" guy, was like kind of sneaky good, you'd be like, oh yeah, he'll sneak through. He's
the biggest guy in the QB room.
Yeah, he's got stature, and he's a good kid, and he's got good arm strength, and he can put some zip on it, and he's smart, and he's tough. There's a lot of things there. Now he's got to do it. He's got to play. I think it's going to take a Herculean effort for him. Things could go one of 3 ways. He's awesome. And the Niners are so unbelievably smitten that they trade Mac Jones. Okay, that could happen. Heck, Pittsburgh doesn't even know what they're doing. Arizona, what are they doing? There could be quarterback injuries. Mac Jones is definitely leaving at the end of the year. So the question is, do you want him? If Rourke could look amazing and make the Niners trade Mac Jones literally at the cutdown or before the trade deadline, but probably at the cutdown, or Rourke could look good, and then they're having all kinds of internal issues. Like, what do we do here? What the heck do we do here? He looks good, but we still have Mac, and are we going to keep 3? And they may keep 3 if he looks really good. And then there's the, and I think there's trade possibilities there if he looks good. If he doesn't look good, then he's just cut. And maybe he winds up on the practice squad as a developmental guy. But even then, I still think people are going to pick him up.
He gives them so many options, either through what he can do, what he can fetch, turn Mac Jones into what he can do, what he can fetch. Nobody's challenging Purdy. So it's going to be really interesting. He is one of the biggest stories, I think, of training camp and what he creates just in terms of opportunity for the 49ers. So keep an eye on all Curtis Rourke news. Like and subscribe if you would, please. This is going to make me sound a little bit like Amy G. How does it feel? But Larry, vibes. Give me the vibes of camp. We've been down there and see camp open up with like an anvil hanging over it. We've seen camp open up and it be very loosey-goosey and lots of smiles and the DJ is thumping and it's all coming together and it feels like you're mid-season level practicing early and everyone is in great spirits. When you came out there, what was the vibe like? Was everyone excited to be there, or were people turned around looking at the electrical station with worry on their face? What was the feel down at the facility?
Well, I mean, you got to remember, this is not mini camp. This is the rookie mini camp. So,
right.
So you have it still feels very much like a tryout. It's a tryout because there were a bunch of players there that are not going to be on the team and they're not going to be on any team and they're just trying out. So it had that kind of a vibe. I mean, it was like, it's like a 2-class system. You have the guys like Romello Height and Kalon Black who,
they're on the team.
They're on the team, and to the point where like Kalon Black and Stribling were kept out of some of the team portions of what they're doing, just because they're on the team, and there's another mini camp in a few weeks, and they don't want to overdo it, and they know that the propensity for rookies is to try to overdo it, to try to show you just drafted me, let me show you what I got, but bro, you haven't played since December, and it's 6 months later, so. How about don't do that? How about let's just take it nice and slow.
We're not going to draft you again.
Right. It's like you've been drafted. And also it's like, then there's other guys who it's Super Bowl Sunday. It's literally Super Bowl Sunday. And they're trying to show that, hey, man, sign me up. I'm here. And there were a bunch of guys who were in that category. Mason Pline, for example, was back, and there was a bunch of other guys who were in there for a tryout. Deuce Chestnut, the corner / safety from Syracuse, and he was there. It feels more like a tryout camp. But I would say that you can't be everywhere. That's the other thing. There's drills over the field, just like a regular practice. So. You got to decide what you want to watch and who you want to watch. I parked myself at the defensive line side of the field. Why? Because you had Kamara, Bryson Eason, James Thompson, Romello Height, and Grayson Halton. You know what I mean? So you had a bunch of guys there.
And they're hitting sleds. There's actually something going on. It's fun. It's fun to watch defensive linemen. And they had an animal.
When they had no music going. So you could hear Kasarik. And Kasarik is not... Kasarik does not try to be like, oh, I'm going to try to hide my intentions and feelings from the media. He doesn't give a shit about any of that. And so he's out there and he's being real. And he's like one of the only real guys there is. So it's like, you know what? If you want to hear a coach get really, real with his players, real good, real bad, real happy, real mad, whatever, that's Chris. And there were a couple times where Romello, and by the way, it's just like practice. If you're watching linebacker drills in practice, Fred Warner does every drill. He's the first guy. The best player goes first. Well, they had Romello Height leading the drills as the best defensive lineman. And there were more than a couple times where Romello Height got off the ball and got to the edge, and Chris just gave him a damn. But it was like one of those good dams, It was like it was like, damn, that guy's fast. Damn, that was a good get off, boy. It's like Chris is old school and he's tough, but he will tell, he's excited.
Yeah.
He's excited by Romello. And the other guy that I think from watching Chris coach, he's really excited about, and I don't know this because I haven't interviewed him, but he appeared to be very excited, is James Thompson. So James Thompson is a, forgettable name, right? James Thompson. It's so easy to forget.
Generic as it gets.
Yeah. James Thompson Jr., who played at Wisconsin, finished up at Illinois, 6'6", 310, 36 reps of 225. So he's got enormous upper body strength. Damon, there were a couple of get off the ball drills, but where they had those poor kids, who wear those pads that have the numbers on them. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
So it's like put your hand on the 9 and then the 8 and then the 6 and then so it's all about they're wearing these pads that have numbers on them so that Chris can say, hey, it's a 6'4", and where as far as your hand placement and all that kind of stuff. These kids were getting destroyed by James Thompson, and a couple times Chris was on some of these knockbacks from Thompson. He was just like, you could see that he loves that violence, because James Thompson, 6'6", 310, he's got quickness, but he's got upper body strength, and it's pretty awesome, man. It's pretty awesome. So I would say I was very impressed by the vibe in the D line thing. Grayson Halton, very much a quick mover. Bryson Eason, big bodied run stuffer, kind of shorter, squattier. James Thompson, 6'6", 310 with quickness, speed, looks really good. Kamara, you can say he's slow, but if I told you, here's Romello Height, here's Kamara, they're running these drills, one guy's really quick and the other guy's really slow, you'd have a hard time. That's differentiating between Height and Kamara as far as speed. Now, Height's faster, leaner, but Kamara is quick and he's got great hand usage, and come on, man. He's done it at a really high level. Mikhail Kamara has rushed the passer in the Big Ten. He's done it in the college football playoffs. He starred on the best team in the country. So, and he looked really good. Like, I was expecting him, Damon, to look really bad, like short arms, kind of muted.
Just a little overwhelmed based on the stock that he's out there against, but no, good.
I thought he was going to be muted. Like, that's what the word that I would use for great college players that step into an NFL field with NFL caliber athletes. It just looks kind of muted. They're just kind of like, it doesn't look all that good. It just like they were really productive and they're doing all the right things, but it doesn't look all that explosive or dynamic.
Yeah, well, it's a big difference between being the NFL player on a college field and just one of everybody here is technically an NFL player on an NFL field. So even in the early days of rookie mini camp, when we're still figuring out who exactly belongs on this field, it's a step up into quadruple A competition right before you reach the bigs that it's one of the biggest, most jarring things that these guys will go through in their career, their first taste of actual NFL participation. It's a level up. It's a serious level up.
And yet Kamara did not look out of place at all. He didn't look short. He didn't look overwhelmed.
Right. But he's still not out there against the real big boys either. So we'll grant that too.
Yeah, they're not really practicing against anybody. It's more, but you know what? I'd be very surprised. Mikhail Kamara looked just the way you would expect Mikhail Kamara to look if you saw him on Indiana. You'd be like, oh man, this guy's a hell of a player. And if you didn't realize that his measurables were not great, and you just thought, oh, he's a great player on a great team, he looked like a great player.
We got rookies cooking. We got an NFL schedule about to come out of the oven on Thursday. This is a good time, man. It really, really is. Larry, let's talk some prize picks. Let's set our lineup for the day here. You want to do that? Because we have almost 20 supers already in. We got a couple more other NFL things to get to here. And then
with a little Bay Area baseball, football, basketball. Here's our prize picks.
There you go. Look at that. I got you. I got you. You just bring up that website there, big guy. There you go. Look at us. Look at us.
Okay, here we go. So what would you like? You want? Well, we're going to MLB. Giants Dodgers tonight.
Give me an extra reason to lean in and watch the Giants hit 4 balls out of the infield tonight. Can't wait.
Well, it's funny. You've got one on Shohei Ohtani home runs. It's only more. I'm not going with that. We're not going with that.
Yeah.
Here, wait. Let's type in SF in the thing here, and that will get us what we seek.
Well, if you go down though, what's this?
Here we go. So Bryce Eldridge. What's that?
Go ahead.
We'll go Giants, and then we'll flip it to Dodgers, but we'll do the same one. Okay, so let's go Bryce Eldridge. I like Bryce Eldridge to get a hit, a run, or an RBI tonight.
Okay. I mean, he finally hit his first home run of the year this year. Would that happen yesterday, I believe, or the day before yesterday? So hopefully it's coming around. No team brings up its top prospect and gets less from that guy.
Well, no team brings up their top prospect and in the first 6 games sits him twice.
It's unbelievable.
What in the fuck, Giants? Jesus Christ. What the hell are you guys doing? Are you suck or you're good? You think you're good? It's like you bring up this kid. He's playing every day. The first quote from the general manager, the manager is like, man, we got to play this kid every day. Next day, he's sitting on the bench. It's like, what?
He hits a home run. Hit him down. Hit a home run.
Down. Let's look at the matchups. The matchup says he's going to struggle. Who cares? Put him up there. You're going nowhere. Develop that kid. All right, I'm going to go Casey Schmidt.
Casey Schmidt. What are we doing on Casey here?
Let's go with more than a half a single.
Okay.
That means he gets a single.
Just get on base there, Casey.
And now let's switch it over to LA.
I need a Doyer.
Yeah, we got to.
I need a Doyer.
Okay. So now, wait a second. No, did I type in LA? For some reason, they're not coming up here. No Dodgers are coming up. Maybe it's down here. I'm seeing Vladimir Guerrero. Nolan Arenado. Where are the Dodgers? Dodger. Oh, here we go. Well, I put LA.
Okay.
So that's that. I thought that would suffice. All right. We got some LA guys down here. We just had to go down here to get them.
Scroll down. Let me see what Sasaki's going tonight, right?
Yeah. And we can get Sasaki. It was on the main page there. We could go back to that if we wanted. Let's see. He's probably down here. Yeah, down here. You got Kyle Tucker. You got Muncy, Trout, Betts. Here's Sasaki. Roki Sasaki. There we go. So we got Roki Sasaki, and we got a bunch of them here. You got 4.5 hits allowed. More. It only gives you more on that one. 2.5 earned runs allowed. Less or more. I like the Giants to score on this first game in LA.
All right, go ahead, bang it.
Let's go with that one. Is there one more? Do you want to go with an Ohtani? Want to hear down here? Some Shohei. You can go 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs, 1.5 total bases. The one thing about this game, the only thing I'll add is the Giants in the last series swept LA. So I would expect LA is going to show up in this series.
Going to come out a little frosty.
Yeah. I think they come out, ready to roll.
How about Shohei more than half a run?
Okay. Where is that? Down here. Okay. I like that. Let's throw one more Shohei here. I like Shohei in
if you're going to take him for half a run, you got to take it on base, right?
Well, I was going to go more than 1.5 total bases.
There you go.
So let's see. Okay, now let's see. We can't combine these projections. Wait a second.
Just leave it at 3. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, there we
we'll
go.
Tell everyone, download PrizePicks. It's America's #1 sports pick application. And as you see, all you got to do is hit more or less. You can even go for team picks, but PrizePicks is ready for you. What are you waiting for? You play $5, you get $50 in lineups when you use code HMA. The link and the descriptions are in both of our live stream descriptions today. So click on the link, use code HMA, and start having fun over on PrizePicks.
And here we go. This is our lineup. We'll review our lineup. And this is what we got. We're doing a 4-pick power play. $5 pays us $25. Eldridge has got to have either a hit, a run, or an RBI. Casey Schmidt's got to have at least a single, and Roki Suzuki's got to give up at least 3 earnies, and Otani's got to have they've got to score 1 run. If all these things happen, our $5 turns into $25. Thank you. Once again, play 5, get 50 instantly, courtesy of PrizePicks. Use code HMA. Thank you, PrizePicks, for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show and the Plus, and of course, Wake Up as well.
That's what we're doing, baby. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. We still have over 1,000 people across all of the platforms that we're streaming on right now watching. So thanks to everyone. Like, subscribe, notify, all of those good things.
Yes. Before we get to the supers, let's hit one last topic. If I told you, Damon, you could add one piece to this 49er puzzle, what is it? Is it an edge rusher? Is it a tight end? Is it a safety? Is it a special teamer? What are you looking to add?
You don't need to lead the witness anymore. I would have said tight end, and the name that I wanted to see is now officially no longer available because David Njoku signed a 1-year, $8 million deal with the Chargers. I mean, that felt like it felt right in the parameters of what the 49ers would want to spend, the kind of commitment that they would make to get a player of his ilk. I'm surprised that they didn't land him. I thought that they would be really interested in this player. 9-year NFL career, all in Cleveland. Second in Browns history, by the way, in touchdown catches and receptions for a tight end, trailing only Hall of Famer Ozzie Newsome. Now, he has missed 11 games over the past couple of seasons due to a few injuries, but you look at him and Oronde Gadsden, and all of a sudden, the Chargers got like a significant 1-2 punch here at tight end. And we do know that Jim Harbaugh and Mike McDaniel know how to use tight ends. So Chargers got a little bit more interesting today. And if you're Justin Herbert, you got to really be happy with that signing. I would have loved to have seen Njoku in a 49ers uniform, but that ship has now sailed.
They loaded up. I mean, not only do they have Rondé Gadsden, who was one of the best rookies last year, 5th-round pick, really intriguing receiver. They also signed Charlie Kolar away from Baltimore, who was Brock Purdy's tight end back in college at Iowa State. Now they've got David Njoku as well. So, wow, Chargers. Here's the thing. We've said it for years. The NFL's a copycat league. What did we see last year? We saw the Rams and Sean McVay go 12 personnel, 13 personnel. I think they were going 2 and 3 tight ends over 30% of the time. By middle of the season, Miami had copied that, but they'd used Daniel Brunskill as their tight end, so they were going with kind of an extra blocking tight end. But that's clearly the trend, is to go with more tight ends, and Harbaugh and the boys are leaning into it. And I'll tell you, I like Harbaugh. I mean, I picked Niners Chargers last year in the Super Bowl, and obviously it didn't happen. But I really like what Harbaugh and his general manager are building in LA. I mean, if you think about
the reason why the Chargers didn't click last year, it's because if you played offensive line for them, you went to the hospital wearing your uniform. I mean, every single significant offensive lineman that the Chargers had or extended or wanted to play last year was rendered almost unavailable all season long.
I kind of wonder if Trey Lance is going to wind up in a big moment because he's the backup to Justin Herbert, and this Charger team really looks good. I mean, give you an example of what we're talking about here. Chargers at receiver, Quentin Johnston, Trey Harris, Ladd McConkey. They just drafted. They also have Keandre Lambert-Smith. They just drafted Brennan Thompson, the Mississippi State kid who's had the fastest time of anybody. So they have unbelievable speed, and they also have size. And then on the offensive line, left tackle Rashawn Slater, left guard. Guess who they're going with at left guard? Your guy, Jake Slaughter, the Florida center that they drafted. They're going to play him at left guard, and he may start. and then Tyler Biadasz at center, Cole Strange, and then Joe Alt. We already went through the tight ends. They've got Herbert, and then running back wise, they got Amarian Hampton. They brought in Keaton Mitchell. They have Kamani Vidal. I mean, that's a big, powerful offense that has speed and power.
Going to have a huge year this year.
Yeah, Chargers. Don't sleep on the Chargers. They got on defense. They got Akeem Mesidor, Genesis Smith, Nick Barrett. I think very interesting guys.
Mike McDaniel, exactly where he needs to be as an offensive
OC for. I it's funny that you said that, because I think it's weird that you've got Mike McDaniel, who is such a, he's a think outside the box guy, and he's also seems kind of like a passing attack guy, even though they like to run the ball, but he loves the sprint, the sprint motion and using speed. Look at all the speed that McDaniel had in Miami.
Right.
And
he loves those orbit motions where you got a guy like zigging around, and he loves big dramatic motions.
This is either going to work fabulously and these guys get a ring, and Mike McDaniel as the one kind of an offense guy going with Jim Harbaugh, who's another kind of an offense guy. It's either going to work incredible, or these guys are going to hate each other. It's going to blow up, and Harbaugh and McDaniel are going to, not see eye to eye. Because think about it. McDaniel wants to throw it all over the place, big plays. Harbaugh wants a 3 yards, cloud of dust kind of a thing, and very conservative by nature. And I could just see them butting heads throughout.
Or they yin and yang each other, and they complement each other perfectly. Yeah. I mean, it's
either going to be awesome, or it's going to be blow up. But
I'll agree with you there. There's no in between. It either really works or really doesn't. There's no 8-8 for the Los Angeles Chargers. Not even 8-8 is available as a record anymore. I see you got. I wanted to ask you if you thought if there would be one more addition. Would it come from tight end? Would it come from D-back? I mean, look at it this way. Kyle Van Noy. Kyle Van Noy's team is doing a hell of a job trying to get him on the 49ers. I still see his name linked to the Niners, and who's ever in charge of making sure his name is search engine optimized to the Niners is doing a hell of a job out there. You can't Google Niners right now without getting a story about Kyle Van Noy wants to be a Niner popping up.
Yeah, well, he did that TV show last week saying that he wanted to be a Niner, but he also said, hey, I know the Niners like Joey Bosa. So, do the Niners want Joey Bosa? Do they want Kyle Van Noy? Do they want an edge rusher at all? I would say edge rush. You can never have enough. You're leaning a ton on Nick Bosa. I think it makes perfect sense for them to go after Joey Bosa. But I bring it up because 49er Web Zone today has an article out. It's kind of interesting, and it basically just says, and I'll show you their options. It says that the Niners should add a safety, and it's going through a bunch of options here. And basically, it's just entitled 49ers should add safety competition, best free agent or trade options, and it goes through Casey Lima goes through this, and there are a bunch of options: Xavier Woods, Taylor Rapp, Deion Bush, Mike Edwards, Jamal Adams, Ashton Davis, Terrell Edmonds, Jabril Peppers, Harrison Smith, who's been around forever, Ugo Amadi, Donovan Wilson.
Jabril Peppers had like a disciplinary thing attached to him, but he might be the best player of the group.
Jordan Poyer, Rashawn Jenkins, Ifatu Melanfonwu. It's an interesting list. There's a couple guys on this list that I kind of like. I mean, I've always liked Donovan Wilson, and he's 75 career starts and 7 seasons with Dallas. He's very experienced. He's kind of a physical player. I've always liked Peppers. We'll see if some people really love him, other people don't. As you said, he's had some off-field issues. I kind of like Mike Edwards, played at Kentucky, 4 career defensive touchdowns for Edwards, so he takes some chances. But to me, it's about Joey Bosa, and I think I would go after Joey Bosa. I think if you look at the 49ers depth chart, you'll see that Nick Bosa is, still, I mean, did they do a decent job of getting some other guys? Okay, but if these are the 5 Niner defensive ends: Mikael Williams, Nick Bosa, Sam O, Keon White, Cam Sample, now Romello Heights. So that's 6. You had Mikhail Kamara, that's 7. But I mean, realistically, who are your edge rushers?
Well, and two of those guys might not be there week one. I mean, let's be honest. Nick Bosa is not guaranteed to be out there week one. And I don't think you're going to see Williams in week one either. So,
and is Williams an edge rusher? I mean, he didn't have a lot of sack production. Is Keon White an edge rusher, or is he more of an inside guy? Sam O's greatest strength is he can play inside. Same with Cam Sample. So you really have Bosa, and then you have Romello Height, the rookie, and you have Mikhail Kamara, and that's it as far as edge rushers. So I think I would absolutely go sign Joey Bosa. I think Joey Bosa is almost the perfect player right now.
What do you think the number is on Bosa?
2 years, $25 million.
How about Cam Jordan, 1 year, 6.5?
It's fine. He just doesn't give you anything close to what Joey Bosa does as far as an edge rusher. Cam's played inside a lot. I mean, I don't think they need Cam. I think Cam's redundant. You have Keon White, you have Mikael Williams, and you have Sam O, and you have Cam Sample. All four of those guys are outside guys who can play inside. I think what they really need is they need somebody who's a difference maker off the edge. And either that's a speedy guy. What I love about Joey Bosa is the 6 forced fumbles.
Yeah.
That's a skill. That's a skill. That's not lucky. That's a skill. So if he could do that again, I mean, if you added 6 forced fumbles over the course of a regular season to the Niners, you're a whole lot better. So, I mean, Leonard Floyd, I would say Leonard Floyd might be there because of his connection to Raheem Morris. He would, but I would go edge. I'd either go Joey Bosa if you have some money. If you don't have any money, go, Leonard Floyd. But I think
you got money. The Niners have more cap space than any team in football right now. And I know that they want to roll over an awful lot and there's big deals coming. But I mean, they got I think it's like 60, 70 million worth of wiggle room. That's significant wiggle room.
It is, but if you go look at overthecap.com, you're going to see that their cap situation in 27 and 28 is not favorable. So I would say their game plan is to roll over, I don't know, 50 million, 60 million of that. But they still have, as you said, 71 million, and they could go after a Joey Bosa, get it done, and still roll over a ton. And I think they're going to do that. I think they're going to, they want flexibility at the trade deadline. They want flexibility at the cut down, but I think Joey Bosa, I think that fits a need. I know John Lynch has said no, but I think that's just the smart thing to say.
Right. You never want to walk into a car dealership screaming, I love this car.
Or I have no wheels and I got to drive home,
tonight. I need your car. Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and hop into these supers. We got a pretty decent size amount.
All right. Fletcher says, is Ephesians Pricesock the same size as Derwin James? He's taller. He's taller and skinnier. He's a little skinnier than Derwin James. I'd say Derwin's probably a little thicker, but Ephesians is a little taller. But I will say this about Ephesians, and Dante Whitner's like, play him at safety. And the first thought is, I agree with him. I think that Ephesians Pricesock is going to struggle to make the team as a corner. There's too many other corners there, and they cover better with better transitions, with fewer penalties. Now, we'll see. This guy did play a ton of football. He had 50 career starts, and who knows? He may show up this summer and look phenomenal. The Niners on day 3 of the draft took big, huge swings on athletes with major traits. A number 1 corner, a guy in Duggar who could be a truly awesome off-the-ball linebacker, or maybe even a difference-making edge guy, or he may get cut. And Ephesians Pricesock may be a number 1 corner, or he may get cut. So, I mean, they really swung big on day 3 for traits. And so I bet my guess is one of those guys, Duggar, Enrique Cruz, Pricesock, one of those guys on day 3 is going to hit. I mean, Damon hit like, whoa, Pricesock's their best corner, or whoa, Jaden Duggar is going to start opposite Nick Bosa or opposite Fred Warner. I mean, somebody with traits is going to rise up, but guess what? Somebody else with traits is going to get cut, and I'm not sure who it's going to be, but that's how I see that thing shaking out. David Esger. The young audience is on Prime, Netflix, and Peacock, isn't it?
Look at it this way. Our reservations that we might have finding that game on what thing. It's not a reservation a lot of kids have. They look that shit up and they know quickly. My 6-year-old knows where things are on streaming services more than I do. I'll ask Jack. I'll be like, Jack, is that Netflix or Prime? Where am I finding it? Oh, Dad, it's Netflix. Okay.
Netflix, but like then you're gonna have to do all the scan the code, match the this and that, type it in, retype it in your security card.
It's like getting in.
Oh, it didn't remember your code.
Yeah, we got a good TV. It's not hard to put
on. But there's no way these numbers are going to be the same. I mean, it's. I don't care if you ask people before they turn on their TV to eat a ham sandwich. There's going to be a lot of people that just don't get the ham sandwich. Anything that you put on there as you have to do this and that, as opposed to just turn on the TV, you're going to get less people. And they're just gambling that that tomorrow's viewers somehow, some way will have the same passion and desire for the product as we do. And I think they're going to lose on that. I think that passion and that dedication to this product was cultivated for years and years and years. And I think they're looking beyond that. David Esger, do you guys favor the D. Winters trade? Seems reckless with a lack of proven depth in the linebacker room to me. Oh, I love the D. Winters trade. Are you kidding me? I love D. Winters was not getting a second contract. He falls off of tackles. He's fast, but he falls off of tackles. Yes, he was better this year once he totally knew the defense, but he still wasn't awesome.
He was good. He was good enough to be traded. Yeah. And that's okay. That's probably where it tops out, right? I mean, he's when we sit back and someday talk about the greatness of professional football players, D. Winters is not going to come up in the conversation, so he's I hate to say this because what it takes to be just a guy in the NFL is a staggering level of discipline and impressive traits, but he's just a guy.
Yeah. I mean, they got better guys. I think Nick Martin, I'd rather, if he was going to block Nick Martin, then I really don't want him. And I thought D was just okay. Fuji Simeon, off topic. I'm watching more UFC fights ever since it streams now on Paramount instead of having to pay for each individual pay-per-view fight format. Yeah, I mean, I watched it this weekend as well. Did you watch Strickland pull the upset in the MMA? It was.
No, I do not seek, nor do I particularly enjoy mixed martial arts events.
See, I do. Now, Kev was home, so he wanted to watch it, and he put it on. And I watched it. The guy that Strickland beat was an overwhelming favorite. And I'm not saying that he took one, that he took a dive, but it didn't look right. It did not look right. This guy, the overwhelming champion who should have won, just a massive favorite. I forget the guy's name. Who Strickland beat. Strickland got him down. And at one point, the guy just kind of goes, he's on the ground, and he just kind of paused, and he let Strickland kind of jump on top of him. It was very, very bizarre. And it was such an overwhelming favorite to get beat. I don't know. It seemed very, I'm not saying it's not on the level, but it didn't look right. It did not look right. The American guy, Strickland, beat the foreign guy, and he beat him like it was a guy was from like Dagestan. I mean, you're not saying he was undefeated, Damon. This guy was undefeated, and he was a massive favorite, and yet Strickland won a decision. I mean,
I didn't see it. I don't know. I don't care.
In boxing, in boxing, there was a thing. If you want to be the champ, you have to beat the champ. Okay. In MMA, I guess that's not the same thing, because Strickland did not beat the champ. He may have slightly outpointed the champ, but that's not the way it's supposed to go. The champ is supposed to be the champ unless you beat the champ. And he did not. I don't think Strickland beat the champ. That's just my opinion. All right. But yes, I do watch more UFC than I probably should. We got this one from Fuji. Can you imagine Niner fans and NFL fans in the 80s and 90s going to overseas Niner NFL games like it is now. Vegas captures a lot of visiting team fans. Yeah, no, I mean, it's amazing. More people travel to see Brock Purdy's Niners than ever traveled to see Joe Montana or Steve Young's Niners combined. I mean, think about that for a second. And it's real. It's absolutely real. Fuji, wow, sack market is Niner heavy. I'm surprised. I thought the Raiders would have a healthy market along with other teams. Oh, the Raiders do. Will the Rams ever start growing an LA fan base and take from the Raiders and 49er LA base? Of course,
the Rams have done everything possible to plant the seeds of fandom in Los Angeles. They've been to Super Bowls. They've won a Super Bowl with McVay. They've had an MVP just last year in Stafford. They were in the championship game just last year. The Rams are happening, but no, I don't know if they will ever be more popular than the Raiders are in Los Angeles, which is half the reason the Rams didn't want the Raiders sharing the stadium with them.
No, I think they will. I mean, the once you're gone, you're gone. I mean, the Raiders are no longer in Los Angeles. So, I mean, but the Raiders fan, once you're a Raider fan, you're not switching. You're not going, oh, I'm a Raider fan, but now I'm, they're in Vegas. I'm not a Raider fan. No, you're going to stick with it. But yes, I mean, Sacramento is a big time Bay Area market. Yeah, I mean, there's no question. Sacramento is a big Bay Area market. A lot of Giants fans. Like the Giants play there. Giants AAA is there. We got this one right here. Wait. Hit the wrong button. There we go. Fuji Simeon became a YouTube member
on both sides of our channel. We didn't know that you weren't Fuji as frequently as you are a super chat dropper, but thank you for becoming a member on both of our channels.
There you go. Wait, he's a new member, and then he's a new member again. And wait a second. Says he's a new member again.
And
then we have this one. Says he's become a YouTube member again.
Thank you.
And then we have this one that says he's become a YouTube member.
He's aggressively becoming a member.
Is this all real? YouTube member again. These are all basically supers, I think, listed as supers. Fuji has become a YouTube member again. We do have this one from Cabo Jeff. I'm a season ticket holder. The home games in Mexico I paid is not being refunded, but taken off the 27-28 season with the home games in Mexico.
In other words, he bought his season tickets. He got charged for whatever game is going to Mexico.
That's odd. And then that's discounted.
So do you have the right of first refusal to those tickets? Do you now get them as part of your season ticket package and you can put them up for sale, or are you just not getting the ticket? I don't understand.
I have questions, Cabo. I have many questions. Jerry Martinez says, I'm from LA, but became a 49er fan because of Montana and Young, but now I'm a Purdy fan more than a Niner fan. Wow.
You usually don't get that guy in the conversation. Like, I've kind of soured on the team, but I'm a big Brock guy. Normally it's the other way around there.
Yeah. I mean, that's, it's good to see you're a Brock fan. We get this one from Being Suave. When you have too many specialists, it spells disaster. When you have injuries, draft mismanagement. Yeah, I do feel like it's kind of like, you need, you got a leaky roof and you got some foundation issues, and part of the house is tilting an inch to the right, and your wife is spending thousands of dollars on Hunter Douglas plantation shutters, and it's like, honey, could we maybe have saved maybe $20,000 on windows and shutters and maybe got a roof or a front door or improved our foundation?
It feels like
that's kind of what happens when you too many specialists, it's like, I like Romello Height, I like Grayson Halton, I like these guys, but the kicker in the third round, a couple of years ago, this idea that we don't really have any needs. It's like, that just shows you don't know what you're doing, because football teams have injuries ridiculously. It's like you always have to keep building at all times.
Specialists are fine. Specialists are guys that you do need to pick later in the draft. Why did they drop in the draft? Because they don't have as many traits as the guys who went before them, but they certainly have some developmental, bona fide NFL traits. The problem isn't the specialist. The problem is getting the specialist with your second pick of the draft. That's the problem. You need more of an all downs player, a man for all seasons in these premium picks, not someone who just, we really like this guy. Forget the fact he can't play first or second down. That's the problem.
I guess my biggest argument would be the Niners drafted 2 offensive linemen. The Niners signed 3 offensive linemen. You're only typically keeping 8 offensive linemen. So the lack of efficiency there is off the charts.
Yeah.
You're going to cut or trade. You're going to most likely cut somebody you either signed or drafted just this year. And that, you're telling me so that's like, hey, we don't really know, but we're just going to throw a bunch of shit against the wall and see what sticks. And that's the way that comes across. And
if you thought there was going to be a roster crunch, instead of trading back to acquire a few more picks, you should have traded up and came away with better players, not traded back to then just reach for players that you might have not have needed to trade back for in the first place.
Well, I saw in Seattle what all Niner fans saw, which was that the Niners offensive line got their ass kicked by Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams. And yet, we're going to run that same interior offensive line out there against them again and expect a different result? That is insane. That is insane. And you could have gone for Chase Besantis, who would have been a plug-and-play left guard with tremendous strength. He's going to start for the Cardinals at left guard. And you bypass that to take a developmental guy in Carver Willis. You should have taken deep on day 3. You took him in the 4th round, 2 rounds early. I'm sorry, I'm unimpressed. Not impressed at all by the way they've gone about trying to build their offensive line. And I'm not rooting against him, but I don't have a lot of confidence that it's going to work.
Now, if one guy totally steps up and it's Willis's job and he plays it and he plays great, then everyone's a genius. But until then, we got questions.
Well, it's just like you went, even so, you went for an offensive tackle that you're going to transition to offensive guard, who's an underpowered guy who's not, showed up at college at 258 pounds, was 140 pounds in high school. It just reeks of just kind of a scrub that you're going to try to turn into your latest find. And it's just like, do you need to take that kind of a risk? Why not go for you seemed like you needed kind of a significant piece on the offensive line last time I watched you guys. Sorry that you didn't get that piece. We'll see if it works. Fuji says, sorry, never realized I never joined either channel.
Well, you joined both like 4 times today. So thanks, Fuji.
Yeah, you've really joined. You didn't join. You super joined. Fuji Simeon, thank you for the show. Even though Larry is an SI Wildcat, I'm the generation who listens on YouTube and never listened to sports radio, even in the car.
Well, thank you.
You know what? That's not surprising. Go Cats. Get them Cats. Go get them Cats. Fuji, off topic. Larry, I agree with you on Vrabel Rossini, except the framing Rossini as a young girl in the scandal. Oh, wait, let's go through that. Is she a girl? Yes. Is she young? Yes. Okay. You may step down. I will say, however, Vrabel's wife has a lot of leverage now if she were to pursue a divorce. There's a bunch of people set off when I said she was a young girl. She's a young girl.
No, okay? she's a 43-year-old woman.
She's a relatively young girl.
Well, compared to like the elderly, she's young, but she's a 43-year-old woman. She's an adult gets.
I know, but look at the situation here. One guy lost nothing, and she lost it all. That's not right. Any way you slice that ain't right. And so I did call her a young girl because in this situation, that's what she is. She has lost her gig and she's gone. And she's being treated like a young girl.
She gone.
Fuji says, to be clear, Vrabel and Rossini consented to an affair.
Oh yeah. There was active participation on both ends of that.
There's questionable morality there. across the board. You're right. Clarence Beeks, member for 47 months. Shohei sucks. Boo.
I mean, there's a lot of things he does, but sucking really isn't one of them. Thank you.
He's really. Here's the question. Since Giants Dodgers play tonight, he obviously doesn't suck, but Clarence, we love you anyway. Here's the question: is he the greatest of all time?
Yes.
He is the greatest baseball player that has ever walked the earth.
Unless
he is better than Willie Mays. He
unless
is
you
better.
need the concept of longevity attached directly to your greatest of all time, he has a skill set that is more dominant than any other player's grand total of skill sets. Period. End of story. He is a Hall of Fame level, lead the league power hitter while being a Cy Young contender at the same time. There's never been a cat like this.
Well, and but I mean, there have been people that have hit and pitched.
Not to this degree. Not to this degree. Not to this degree. No.
Somebody should explain baseball history to Damon Bruce. Did you not know that Babe Ruth won 20 games like 5 times?
Right, but Babe Ruth
is a way more accomplished pitcher.
Babe Ruth played in an era.
Yeah, but you're devaluing the entirety of Babe Ruth.
I am.
Because of the era.
I am devaluing the era. Look at it this way. Babe Ruth never in his life.
So Willie Mays is not one of the best players ever because
he is one of the greatest players ever, but what was his ERA?
No, but that's separate. You're talking about Willie.
That's what separates Ohtani from the rest. He does something that no one else has really been able to ever do before.
So anybody who hits and pitches vaults above people who just hit?
No. But
because there have been other people that have hit and pitched.
Not quite like this guy.
Babe Ruth. Are you not familiar with Babe Ruth?
I am very familiar with Babe Ruth. Are you familiar with he never saw a player of brown skin playing against him? Babe Ruth never once saw a 19-inch slider breaking from north to south in the 7th inning. He's never
He also played in stadiums that were dark and potholes in the outfield. And yeah, he didn't have pristine everything. And he dieted on hot dogs and beer.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I'm going to take Shohei Ohtani with all due respect.
I hear you, and I would too. But I'm just saying, don't say that Shohei is the best when Babe Ruth has 20-win seasons. Multiple 20-win seasons as a pitcher. He was a great pitcher. So I hear what you're saying, but the other thing is, if it was so fucking easy, how come nobody else did it?
He was great. There's no doubt. Babe Ruth was great. He was.
But Shohei's good, but he didn't out-homer every other team in the league. I mean, to me, it's like, I hear what you're saying, and Kyle Hurd just did this whole thing. Oh, Babe Ruth, it's all bullshit. But, the thing about it is he didn't make the rules, so it's like you can't hold the lack of the integration of the game into. Plus, the other thing about it is, yes, the game is global now, but the condensed talent was better then. You had 8 teams. Now you have 30 teams. I mean, what if someday there's 180 teams?
I'm going to take the first
better than the 30-team era.
I'm going to take the first player and the only member of the 50-50 club who can also start game 1 of the fucking World Series. That's
I'm just saying, he's great, but is Shohei Ohtani a better baseball player than Willie Mays?
I would say he faces better pitching from the 6th inning on than Willie Mays saw as starting pitching in playoff games.
That's the one part right there. I just have a hard time with that. I think he's a spectacular player for sure, and he's a freak in that he can do it all. But is he better than Ruth? Is he better than everybody?
I never saw a better hitter than Babe Ruth, than Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds is the single greatest pure hitter I think I will ever see in my life.
I agree. I think Barry Bonds is the best offensive player I've ever seen. But who knows? Maybe Hank Aaron. A lot of people say Hank Aaron's the greatest offensive player they've ever seen.
All right, let's keep going.
Fuji, off topic, Larry. If you did do Friday Giants live streams, it could just be to see your Giants parlays fail or win rather than the product on the field.
Yeah, you can watch us sweat our draft pick lineups live in real time.
I went to the game Friday night, I took I went to 2 Giants games this week. Unbelievable. I went with Mayoko on Monday, and then I went again on Friday. I'll tell you this, man. You know what's the absolute best seat in the house? Best seat in the house.
So I've always, I don't know where you're going with this, but I've always liked club section. It's about 220, I think. It's like right on the line of you got the guy coming from second base to third base, but he's running right at you. That perch, that view of the field is one that I really
third base.
Yeah. Third base side, like club level 220.
I called the radio station on Friday. I'm like, hey man, I want to go to the game. Do you guys have any extras? And I was just seeing if they had extras. And Maria from KMBR was like, yeah, Krug, we got, I knew it was probably a perfect time to ask, right? Because the Giants have been playing so bad. Right. And it's a Mother's Day weekend and people are leaving. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? Maybe she's got a couple extras. So she's like, Krug, I got 4. And they're the first row of the club section on the first base side. Okay. And basically the opposite of what you said. Kind of instead of looking,
you're looking from first to second.
Well, no, I'm looking from down the left field line, like home plate down the left field line.
Okay.
But I mean, we're in the first row, 4 seats across, and all the stands are beneath you, but your sight line is right there on the field. That is a phenomenal seat. I mean, that you can see the whole yard. I mean, you can see
and you get a nice little Bay Bridge view from that.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Amazing spot. And the
look,
there was firework night. We got out of there.
Nice. You can complain about the Giants, their lineup, their GM, how they're made. You can complain about a lot of things. You can complain about the pricing in there. You cannot complain when you see that ballpark. It is perfect. It's gorgeous.
Well, how long will that park be there?
Oh, another 50 years. I mean,
it almost seems like because of its location that it's going to be there for a long time, and it's just going to be renovated.
How about this? The Cubs have a better chance of playing in another stadium before the Giants do.
Wow. That says something. The regular Ryan, is there a mandate for media to say Valhalla when covering Golden State Valkyries? Saw that word on my timeline 50 times yesterday.
I will say that Valhalla is one of the better home arena nicknames that any team has had in a while. NBA, WNBA, Valhalla, Ballhalla.
Explain it to me.
So the Valkyries are the Nordic goddesses that guarded the gates of Valhalla in Norse mythology. That's what a Valkyrie is. So to call Valhalla Ballhalla, because it's now a basketball court, is a clever bit of marketing.
Okay.
I don't look at it this way. I don't like the WNBA. You would have to drag me to a Valkyries game for me to actually go or watch it.
Have you gone?
Valhalla is a pretty damn good nickname for the arena when they're playing.
Have you checked out?
No, I have not gone to a WNBA game yet.
I have broken my WNBA maiden. And I am I'm officially
rushing back to game number 2.
Well, I've never been to a Valkyries game per se, but I did go see the Connecticut Sun in the most amazing venue I've ever been at in my entire life.
The Mohegan Sun, the casino venue?
The Mohegan Sun is an awesome Indian gaming casino in Connecticut. I'm not sure exactly where it is in Connecticut.
Danbury?
Hartford, Danbury. Okay. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful.
That's the biggest casino in the world, by the way. Did you know that? The Mohegan Sun, I think, is the biggest gaming floor in all the casinos.
You mean that one? Or you mean period, like across like all their...
No, like across all casinos, the Mohegan Sun might be.
So, Damon, think about this for a second. This is the future. We walked into this WNBA game. It's in this casino, right?
Uncastleville, Connecticut.
Okay. In the casino, there's, if you want to go have dinner before, there's a Chick-fil-A. There's fast food, right? A little food court, just like you'd see in the mall. But then there's also, Damon, like right there's like Fleming's Steakhouse. You know what I mean? And right there, there's like some seafood grotto. and it's like
you can go white
5-star dining.
tablecloth if you want to.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. And then the sports book in this casino has an 8K screen. I don't know that I'd ever seen an 8K screen before. I was absolutely mesmerized. I was sitting there like, oh
So
my
many
God.
Ks.
It is amazing. Dude, that is the future. Now, WNBA, okay, I'm not, I'm the game, whatever. It was fine. I'm not going to rip it. I'm not going to love it. Whatever. It was okay. But just think about it. You go to anything game, Cubs game, Giants game, Niner game, the future. We're talking about down the road. You come out of the game and you walk into a corridor where you could go to 5-star dining, or you could go sit at a craps table. You could go to a sports book. The whole 50,000, 40,000, 30,000, whatever number of people, they exit into the casino. I mean,
it's a pretty good business model.
Oh, dude, can you imagine that?
Well, Larry, have you ever been to Las Vegas? That happens all the time. Go to a concert at the MGM and then get let out in the casino. It's great.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me. That's funny you said that, because it reminded me of going to the fights, in the MGM's Garden Arena, and then all of a sudden the fight lets out and you're in the casino, and it's like it just feels so right.
The energy.
Oh, it's awesome. It is absolutely awesome. And I'll say this: that's the future, man. That is the future. SGA Sports Talk. Chardal has become a YouTube member.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome to the proceedings, Chardal. We have this one from Ben_Diesel85. I heard Romello Height was very impressive during the rookie minicamp, and that he gives off Alden Smith vibes. If so, that's good news so far. Alden Smith, a totally different animal. Alden Smith is a bigger, longer guy.
Thick.
Yeah, I mean, and just physically dominant and huge. This guy is not like that. This guy is more like, who would you call a speed rusher? He's a speed, who's an undersized. He kind of reminded me of a little bit of Jalen Walker last year from Atlanta. He's an undersized speed rusher.
But the guy that they didn't trade for, Jonathan Greenard.
He's more like 265. I think he's bigger. I think. But this guy he's 240, but he's flies off the edge.
Right. Well, give him a couple of years in the league, he'll be 260.
Seriously, nobody ever gets smaller. That's for sure. Too much sauce is, should Wemby get suspended? It's funny. As I'm sitting here doing the show with you, Damon, I've got ESPN off on the TV here. Did you see the left elbow that he threw at?
So a buddy of mine texted me. He's just said Wembanyama got tossed, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? How can you toss him that early?" And then I saw the highlight, and I said, "Yeah, that is the definition of what gets a flagrant 2. You are done." I do not believe, though, that it meets the level of malicious intent that you need it to reach to have a second suspension. I think he's playing.
They called it wrong?
No. Flagrant 2 ejected from that one game, but I do not believe there needs to be a carryover suspension of another playoff game.
I agree. Stay out of it, NBA. Let the players play.
It's an in the moment correct ejection. I think it would be overkill to try to suspend him for one more game. And by the way, you could also see Wembanyama not understand what flagrant 2 meant. He's sitting there over on the bench. Harrison Barnes comes over to him and is like, "Dude, you're done for the night." And Wembanyama is like pointing like, "Me? I can't play anymore." He didn't even realize that what a flagrant 2 suspension meant for him. It's the first time he's been suspended in his career. I do think priors matter. And Wembanyama is a lot of things. A bullying, rough player is not his reputation at all. I think he's fine. He will play in the next game.
Damon, it's a weird thing, though, because it's like we've seen rebounders grab the rebound and throw the elbow in one motion. Grab it and like this elbow comes down, right? And it kind of looked like that. And it's like, if everybody's going to be gathered around the guy's face as he's got the ball right here, any movement of his arms is going to catch somebody in the head.
It's amazing that there aren't more phantom elbows on rebounds in the NBA. And the thing is with Wembanyama, his phantom elbow just happens to be at head level of the next guy then it would, like most guys, they come down with a rebound and fat elbows get them maybe a little bump in the chest of who they're playing or a shoulder elbow. Wembanyama is so tall that his rebound elbow is now right in somebody's jawline.
It's amazing. But I totally agree with your initial point there, which is it's shocking that it doesn't happen 3 days a week, right? I mean, there's guys throwing elbows all the time. It also kind of shows that all this stuff is probably intentional, right? It's like these guys know what they're doing. They played this game so many times. They know exactly where everybody is. Fuji says, elder folks trying to scan the QR code streaming platform in order to watch sports, all while they worry if streaming will mess with their TV setup.
It must be tough to be a 75-year-old man these days.
Dude. I mean, my dad died during the pandemic, but I do miss those calls from him. He'd be like, liar. Where's the Giants game? Like,
how do I watch this? How do I turn on Prime? What do we do?
Liar. How do I get the Giants game? Where's the Giants? Where's my Giants?
What do you mean there's no Sunday night baseball on ESPN? What are you taking, crazy pills?
Oh, and then the other thing that was sad was like, when I would say to my dad, it's on Apple. It's Apple TV. He'd be like, I'll catch it tomorrow. He never was like, oh, what do I have to do to get it? Ever. Right. Like it was like not an option, like to even consider getting it. It's on Apple. Oh, I get it tomorrow.
I remember my dad, again, who passed away. I remember the utter look of confusion when somebody at a restaurant came over to him with like the in-hand, okay, we're going to ring you up right here. Can I take and scan your credit card? Would you just punch your PIN number in right there and sign it with your finger? I watched my dad basically say like, yeah, the world's marching in a direction I don't understand. Like I could see the confusion, and I'm like, let me do that, Dad. And it's like, it's rough being an old man.
It's tough, man. It's tough. Big Tone says, Big Tone 7078 says he had a bad weight cut. 40 pounds probably affected him. Oh, talking about the champ who got beat. Yeah, maybe that was it. I don't know enough about his background, but yeah, maybe that's it. Hey, if you drop 40 pounds, there's going to be a power deficit. There's going to be an impact to that.
Yeah. It's a lot of, here's the thing. Go and pick up a 40-pound dumbbell. That shit's heavy. That's a lot of weight.
It is. To lose that weight too changes your whole everything. But the other thing about that fight, and I just dropped this one on the people who saw it. The guy who was the champion is a grappler. He's one of these guys from Dagestan. He's like Khabib, right? They're so awesome, Damon, on the ground. Like this guy probably is totally ordinary as a boxer, but as soon as he gets you on the ground, it's submission time and he's choking you out. And it's like, you're taking away your air and all kinds of moves. And, it's like, he's a wrestler. He's a grappler. And it's like, he did not try to get his opponent on the ground after the third round when he was taking him to the ground at will, and the other guy looked really bad on the ground. So I don't know. I was dubious about the way that whole thing came down.
A little suspicious.
Very suspicious. Fuji Simeon says, to be clear, I'm a lapsed UFC fan. Just watched it since it's included on Paramount without extra cost, like how old pay-per-view fights used to be. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm like, Damon is not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of it either. But like, if I've got somebody in my house who wants to watch it, it's like universal. I'll watch it, and that's what basically would happen. I'll watch the bigger fights, or if like Kev comes in and he's like, Dad, I want to watch the UFC fight, and let him press all the buttons.
Look, when HBO boxing was a thing, I used to watch a ton of boxing because there's nothing else on this Friday night at 8:30. So yeah, okay, HBO boxing it is. I'm gonna watch this guy I've never heard of punch this other dude I never heard of. I'm in. But yeah, I didn't seek it. I just found it, and if it's there, sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, boxing is great too. I think when it's great. I mean, it's got so corrupt through the years. Cabo Jeff says, I wasn't given any choice but use the money for the following season unless I discontinued the membership for 27 and 28. God, that seems like everything they do should be about the season at hand. They shouldn't be able to. Don't you think that seems a little dubious to like kind of float things into other seasons and try to
exactly? Dude, I'm not cap room. You shouldn't be rolling me over into it.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great one. Gravy 7. I'm not cap room. That's true. I mean, seriously, stop treating us like cap room. That is so spot on. Gravy says no Wemby suspension. NBA front office is a joke.
I don't think he deserves to be suspended for another game. He deserved to be ejected in the game that it happened in. He doesn't deserve further suspension.
Yeah, I don't like officiating impacting the sport, and they love to do that in the NBA. Fuji Simeon, sorry, Larry, I meant Rossini was an adult, not that she didn't lose anything. She got the short end of the stick compared to Vrabel. Yeah, no, I hear you. I probably shouldn't have called her a little girl, but there you go. Fuji Simeon, Larry, if you do get an offer to sell your channel, remember you need to pay for a wedding and also buy a compound on the Big Island to be Otani's neighbor. Okay, so I will be paying for the wedding. I will not be selling the channel, and I will have a compound on the Big Island at some point, and maybe even Damon will have a little side studio. He could come and visit, and bring Jack and Ozzy and your wife, and it'll be an incredible time on the island. Dare to dream. I want to. Oh, by the way, this happened over the weekend, Damon. Our golden retriever got loose into the laundry room where we have her bag of kibble, and we found her eating kibble, like just wildly,
just mowing,
just mauling the kibble bag. Needless to say, we have taken her on like 5 walks since. She's drinking water, she's burping, she's farting, this poor dog. This poor dog's probably about to.
Big girl ate well.
She's looking fatter too. She's looking fatter. That one right there. When I saw that, I was like, oh my God. We got this one from Ben Diesel. The Warriors currently have the 11th overall pick. Larry and Damon, who would you guys pick? I'm glad you asked.
By the way, yeah, that's the one transition to, I think, the end of today's show, because we need to talk about the fact that Steve Kerr is back. He's got a 2-year deal, 2 more years to get it right with Steph and Draymond. And, for those who are the complaining about Steve Kerr crowd out there, let me explain how it goes. You don't understand what the fuck it is happening over here. Here's how it works. Steph Curry decides these things. And if Steph Curry wants Steve back, Steve comes back. The whole notion they got to see if Steve really wants to still win. And that's nonsense. Of course, Steve wants to still win. That guy is a killer at the first degree level of competitiveness. The question was, does he think he can still win with the Warriors? If I were Steve, I would have waited to see if whether or not San Antonio didn't get bounced here and maybe fired its coach and then go beat Victor Wembanyama, go step in for, Greg Popovich's, career. But I'm glad that Steve is back. I can't think of the NBA head coach who would be an instant upgrade over Steve Kerr, or who would do better by this franchise. And who they take 11th overall is a player that either needs to be on the court contributing right away or traded for the veteran to finally make one last run here, if indeed that is in the cards. So the Warriors have fucked this up so royally. Stop your ridiculousness and just keep building. That's what the Spurs did. That's how they got Kawhi. That's how they that's what you got to do. You just got to keep building. This idea that you're just going to keep, how old do you want to be? Jimmy Butler's done for half of next year. Draymond Green is old as shit. Steph Curry is really, really old. Giannis, old. Kawhi, old.
Is it gonna be better to have more old players? You're not beating anybody. It's like the Warriors are, the stupidity of the Warriors, it drives me so bananas. Here is NBADraft.net. Okay, here is blow
that a little bit. Can you zoom in so we can see those names a little bit better on the Warriors side of the column there? The Warriors are picking 11th. They had about a 70-ish% chance in the lottery to be right at 11. There was a very small percentage that they moved up, and they got snookered right where they are. By the way,
look at this. Look where they are. They're 11, right? Okay. Yeah. It says Brandon Burries, the kid from Arizona. Okay, but look, 2 picks down is Yaxel Lendenberg. That's the guy they ought to take. Yaxel Lendenberg. He's 6'10". He's 240 pounds. He's got an outside game. He's got a floor game. He's got a 3-point shot. He's got a handle. He's got major upside. He's huge. He's a 6'10", 240 pound. Yeah, he's a damn good player. He didn't play well in the national championship because he was hurt. But the guy you saw in the tourney was not the guy that I saw last year before he transferred and earlier this year.
He was so good in the regular season.
Yeah, he's awesome. This guy's 6'10", 240. And then the Warriors also have a second round pick. I kind of like Alex Caravan from Connecticut, who's a 6'8", pretty good shooter. But either way, it's like, don't overthink it, Golden State. I mean, you're sitting there. Lendenberg's going to be there. You're in the lottery. When is the lottery, by the way? It's tonight, tomorrow? It's what's coming up here.
No, so the lottery just happened yesterday.
The NBA lottery happened yesterday?
Yeah. We get those are all. Yeah. I mean,
so
the draft
Warriors stayed at 11.
They were Warriors are at 11. Warriors are at 11.
Okay.
Yep.
So Washington gets the first pick. And it goes Washington, Utah, Memphis, Chicago, Clippers, Brooklyn, Sacramento picks 7. Atlanta, Dallas, Milwaukee, Golden State picks 11. Yeah. Take Yaxel, Lendenberg, and don't think twice about it. I mean, there's now, I don't know.
Did you see the Pacers? The Pacers totally fell out of the first round because of the trade with the Clippers, and it wouldn't convey back to the Pacers if it were outside the top 4. And so the Pacers needed that pick to get into the top 4. It didn't. So Pacers just had like a 19-win season and have no first round draft pick.
Oh. But I mean, it's like the Niners have Trent Williams, George Kittle, Nick Bosa, Christian McCaffrey, all these guys that are in the prime of their career. You don't see them bypassing the draft because, you know what, we don't need young players because we're trying to win now. So let's trade all of our draft picks away and see if we can get some veterans to come in. It's like, what?
I mean, outside of that, I would have traded you this entire draft class for Myles Garrett, though.
I hear you, but that's not what we're talking about. I mean, Myles Garrett, if the Warriors were going to get the equivalent of Myles Garrett, but they're not. I just think the whole, trading Poole for Chris Paul, moronic, absolute idiocy. I mean, that was stupid just because you want to get rid of Jordan Poole. You're tired of Jordan Poole. I mean, that was a dumb trade. And it was dumb to give Jordan Poole the extension, but it was dumber to trade him for an old player. And then, now you're going to try to, the Jimmy Butler thing, an old team, let's get older. And then like this year, you couldn't move Jonathan Kuminga. Then when you finally did, you moved him for older, hurt Porzingis. So now you have older players. I do too, but I mean
he'll fit. He does fit better, but yeah, but he's, if he can't only, if he'll never see 55 games of a regular season, what good is he?
I don't get this idea of like, look at the team. Look, who's the best team? OKC. They're not old. What old team won a title? I can't think of one. You don't win when you're old. It's like Draymond Green just got into an argument the other night with Charles Barkley where Draymond Green looked like a fucking idiot. It's like Charles Barkley, all Charles Barkley said is you cats aren't winning any more fucking titles. And Draymond got so butthurt by it. He's like, you weren't that good in Houston. What? He averaged 16 and 12 and 4 in Houston. He was better in Houston than you've been in your entire fucking career. What are you talking about, Draymond? You got to know when to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's no governor on his mouth. And apparently he was on the dais for the Kevin Hart roast, and he got just destroyed during this Kevin Hart roast on Netflix. Apparently the best line of the night was somebody said, unfortunately, Steph Curry couldn't be here tonight, but he did carry Draymond Green to the show.
Who said that? Kevin Hart?
Might have been Shane Gillis or something. I don't know who did it.
Shane Gillis is the best. Fuji, one more. He says, LOL, I'm imagining Larry doing parlay picks with Ohtani while both lounging in Hawaii. Maybe Ohtani has good insight into parlay picks. Haha, kidding. Yeah, I'm sure, nobody knows more gambling than Shohei's best friend.
Everyone needs a fall guy, Larry.
Yeah, seriously. Unbelievable. I like how that story just went away. I mean, It's amazing how that just disappeared. Like, Shohei's the biggest star in the world. He's just got this gigantic gambling habit. Suddenly there's no talk of it.
It wasn't his.
It's like it's like David Stern was more apt to bring up, Donaghy randomly than Manfred.
Timmy Donaghy. There you go. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being a part of this show today. We really appreciate it. Hit like and subscribe on both channels. Larry, I just want to, little message. I'm going to slide across the table. I am now up on TikTok. Give me a follow on TikTok if you would. Damon Bruce Plus over there, trying to get monetized over there. And we thank everyone. I've got no 11 o'clock show. This is it for my broadcasting day. A couple of big meetings coming up. Got to make sure the house is ready for my wife to go gallivanting off to Las Vegas for most of the week. So I'm going to be double dipping in fatherhood and boyhood, and we're going to be watching some Star Wars this week. It's going to be great. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Larry, you get the last word, man.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody. Hit like and subscribe on your way out the door. If you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is support the sponsors. And one last one here on the way out the door. Thank you to, of course, Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor. Of the Krug Show. And of course, thanks to PrizePicks, who's done an awful lot for Damon's channel, my channel as well. Also, thank you, Alomar Marina. AlomarMarina.net. Float while you dine on the Sacramento River, 5999 Garden Highway. They're open Wednesday through Sunday. And also thank you to Novato Chevrolet. When I buy a Chevrolet, I buy it from Novato Chevrolet, voted top car dealership by Carfax. Go see my guy, David Corral. He will take care of you and treat you exceptionally well. And last but certainly not least, thank you to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. The great Anthony Catania has been a fan of the show for a long time. 831-521-5264. Any collectible that you order from Anthony, he will pay your shipping if you tell him you're a Krug Show fan. So anyway, for Damon, I'm Larry. Thanks to all of you. I'm going to go live later tonight with Dieter. I'm also going to be putting out a video later today from the great Ryan Fowler, he's one of my favorite draft guys, and he's going to stop by and we'll get his thoughts on the draft. Tried to hook up with him in the last week or so, but it didn't work out. So we're going to do it this week, and we appreciate him. So a lot of good stuff coming on the channel, some big announcements coming up shortly. Until then, peace.